Because like our IB visual arts is different than like
Southside tonight. That's just our agenda. Obviously, you already kind of went through the tour. Hopefully, you got to talk with some of our students, some of our and our staff about some of the pathways and schools of success, some of the opportunities that are here for you at Southside High School. And so I'm going to pass this over to Mr. Leopold. He's going to go through a few slides, and then I'll come back on here and talk a little bit more.
All right, so as Mr. Hall said, you're going to get a lot of information tonight, so we're going to try to go through things as complete as possible so you have an understanding without overwhelming you. But one of the first things we want to make sure that everyone knows coming in is that there have been some changes with the graduation requirements. So for those of you who are here, how many of you adults have children that have already graduated from high school or are at least a sophomore? Okay. So things have changed, and things have changed as far as graduation requirements since then. So beginning with the class of 2029, and of course this class, which is in 2030, there are some changes to the diploma requirements. In the past, and it's going to be hard for me to transition some of the terms myself, but in the past it was the Core 40, which was like the diploma that most students, I would say maybe half students, to 2/3 of the students graduated with, the academic honors and the technical honors. So those were the previous diplomas. Now beginning with the 2029 class as well as freshmen, there are some new terms and some new definitions for what those diplomas are. You have that. Hopefully you picked up the sheet when you came in. It's a two-sided sheet that shows the graduation requirements. It's broken down by category. On the left-hand side shows the different categories. I can just get a spotlight real quick some of the changes for those of you who have older students that have gone through high school. The biggest difference for the foundational courses for the new Indiana diploma, you'll see that for the most part it looks a lot like the old Core 40. There are a couple changes. So one of the changes under English is that students in this class will be required to take speech, which will occur later on in high school, probably during their senior year. Instead of 6 math credits, it says 7, but one of those is personal finance. So that will be one of the required classes that students will take. And that also will be probably during their senior year, is the plan. If you move down to science, for those of you who knew the Core 40, that was 6 credits. Now it's 7, but the 7th is a computer science course. And that is one that they will take next year as a freshman. Then a couple things that have changed that kind of, that students really, if they're in the middle schools and intermediate schools now, they are taking these classes. So it's important that they do well in them because they will transfer with them over to high school and be on their transcript. So I believe all 8th graders in Fort Wayne Community Schools are taking careers as well as gym. So those 2 classes in 8th grade will transfer with them to high school. So whatever grade that they get, hopefully everyone in here that's an A, but whatever grade you get in those courses, that comes with you and begins your high school, as well as any other middle school credits, like middle school, algebra for high school credit, those also come over. But for all 8th graders, PE and careers. So the good news is, if you're not a gym lover, if you get that gym credit done in 8th grade, you don't ever have to take a gym class again. So That's one of the major changes. And then instead of the terminology of academic honors and tech honors, students will all have an opportunity to earn different seals. There's the enrollment seal, which corresponds to students that are planning to go on to college after high school. There's the enlistment seal for students that are planning to go into some branch of military service. And then the employment seal for students that are planning to go to transition into like a skilled trade or a skilled career after high school that may or may not go through a college route. So for the most part, the enrollment seal corresponds to the old academic honors requirements, with the exception of that students will take one less world language course for that. But students will still have to take at least 2 dual credit classes or IB classes. So yeah, that's the backside of the sheet that you have as far as these seals. There's a lot of details there that we don't want to slow things down with here tonight. Students will learn more about that as they go through their freshman courses. I'm sure we'll have additional parent information nights during their freshman year. But just to kind of give you a heads up of what those diplomas are, because on the scheduling sheet, when we meet with students, one of the first questions they'll answer is which of those they are planning to set a goal as coming into high school. And that's just the goal coming through the door that they'll be working toward. Okay, so students could change that along the way if they come in choosing the enrollment honors seal as their plan coming in as a freshman. If they, somewhere along the way, sophomore year, junior year, decide to switch over to an enlistment seal, that is perfectly acceptable. So that is the technical aspects of the graduation requirements. I think it goes back to Mr. Alka.
Thank you. Before we go on to this part, raise your hand if you are from Memorial Park. Okay, good turnout. Some of you have a band concert this week, or you might have already had one yesterday, so good luck on all that. Hopefully that goes well. What about Kikianga? There we go, there's our Kikianga crew. Anybody from Portage? Any Portage? How about Shawnee? Shawnee? Lane? Yay, Lane! Jefferson? Anybody from Jefferson? No? Miami? No? What else did I miss? Lakeside. Lane. You already said Lane. Anywhere else? Blackhawk, yes. Blackhawk. Well, welcome. That's one of the, I think, the great things about Southside is we get kids from all over the city that come from all of our feeder schools, and we truly are a high school for almost every middle school and for community school, which is pretty cool. So I have a special tie with Memorial Park because I taught there for 10 years, and my kids went through Memorial Park as well. But we're excited to have all of you here to make the Southside family. So one of the things that if you're within 40B schools, obviously the middle school level with your college and career class that you're taking your 8th grade year, you've learned a little bit about Schools of Success powered by 3DE. So we want to talk a little bit about what that looks like at the high school level. And we have a video here, and hopefully we can get the video link to work.
Clark, and I'm a freshman at Southside High School, and I'm part of the Zyrap House. Freshman year's been different, but I think it's been in a beneficial way with like the School of Success stuff.
Hello everyone, I hope everyone's having a great evening. My name is Miles Clark, I go to Southside High School, and I'm part of the Business and the Arts School of Success. One thing out of many things that has stood out to me through my 1 1/4 years of being a part of this new program, the amount of time that goes into the students, the time and care. The thoughts of our future, colleges, and future jobs right out of high school is amazing. Coming from teachers, administrators, all things that haven't really been a norm. What kind of helped me is being pushed to care. Instead of having teachers just kind of like back off and let me do my thing. It was like, once you care, the time that we're putting into you and the time that you're putting into things matter.
And every time I'm in class participating in activities or attending a trip or all that kind of stuff, I find myself getting new ideas about what I want to do in my future.
So first they have to feel connected and safe in their classroom, and then we make them feel connected and safe in their house, and then we make them hopefully build that onto the 9th grade class as a whole. So we're creating that sense of community early where they can feel comfortable and safe, and then giving them the skills that they need to effectively navigate their high school career and after.
Before, even just last year, I was a very quiet kid.
I am so grateful to have been given this opportunity and be given this chance to not only join 3D, but then become a 3D ambassador, and now School of Success ambassador, and to speak to you and other students about this amazing program that has truly helped me come out of myself and rediscover who I am.
Being with Schools of Success helped me learn about myself more. I realized that I like being in the spotlight to share my voice, say my opinions, and now I'm looking into other careers like business and even marketing.
As we work through freshman seminar, one of the big things that we work on is that digital literacy piece. There's lots of things that we're teaching them. One, they're collaborating on technology, learning how to do research and making sure that they are fact-checking the research that they find and not just going with that main thing that they find right away. Reliable sources of evidence when they are making their presentations to back their ideas and thought processes.
They have grown so much as far as, learning some of those workplace skills, learning some of those academic skills, and it's crazy how different they are from when they walked in here in August.
Because a one-size-fits-all approach in 2025 isn't the answer anymore. And doing school like we did school 25 years ago isn't meeting or in keeping up with the needs of our current economy and our current social environment.
So what that looks like is opening our doors here at Parkview to Fort Wayne Community School students, whether they are interested in doing a job shadow or an internship, or maybe they're in a career academy program and they need clinical hours.
And once we see that spark, once we see that talent or that God-given ability, we need to nourish that and we need to encourage it. Once doing so, we're going to continue to see things grow economically. We're going to see our region grow as far as talent and skill sets that then can be passed on to the next generation.
And it's like about stepping outside of your comfort zone and having creativity and just having new experiences and being able to overcome them, even if there's obstacles.
It's not just about the technical certifications and training. These students are also being equipped on the essential skills that we want to see in our future coworkers.
Fort Wayne Community Schools, in partnership with 7 local colleges and universities, is launching the Higher Education Coalition. This is groundbreaking partnerships with Indiana Tech, Indiana University Fort Wayne, Ivy Tech Community College, Manchester University, Purdue University Fort Wayne, Trine University, and Vincennes University. Here's what this means. If a student maintains a 2.5 GPA or higher, they're guaranteed admission to all 7 schools. They can take college courses at no cost while in high school, earning college credits and saving families thousands of dollars. And where does it start? Right here at Fort Wayne Community Schools.
Okay, so it's cool to see some of our kids and some of our teachers on there as well. I would tell you, as a parent of a Southside graduate a few years ago and a parent of a sophomore now, their experiences have been totally different and for the good. My son, that graduated 2 years ago, I would say had a great experience at Southside. I had a great experience as a student myself here. But the opportunities that we are providing our students now and the things we're asking them to do are preparing them for life after graduation a lot better than what we were doing 3, 4, 5 years ago. I think with which is awesome. And so one of the things as I came here from the middle school level and became principal here at Southside 4 years ago, I said one of the best days as a principal is graduation day. You get to stand there and shake the hand of 300 plus kids and hand them a diploma, and that's an exciting time. Some kids that maybe you never thought their freshman year they would make it to that point, and they did, and that takes a family sometimes to make that happen. But I would also say on that day, it was a little discouraging because you knew, although you were giving those students that paper, that many of them had no idea what they were going to do that Monday after graduation. And that's the frustrating part. And so that was one of the challenges that as a district we said, we've got to make sure that our kids are prepared for life after graduation. The finish line should not be that graduation day in June. It should be way down the road, and our kids are prepared with the skills that they need necessary to be successful in whatever career path, whether it's enrollment, enlistment, or in the job force right away. And so that's our challenge as a district, that's our challenge as a school to help prepare your children for that challenge. And some of the skills, we created this in partnership with businesses, local businesses here in Northern Indiana, teachers, students. I think some of the most powerful voices that we met with our students, and within that our students were challenging us as a school district and as a school to say these are the skills that although we might not be in the graduating classes because this work was done a couple years ago and they were already seniors, they said, but I expect my siblings that are younger to have these skills because these are what we're talking about are important for them to be successful. And so we call it our Portrait of a Graduate. I will tell you, one of our own Southside students that was part of that conversation originally was called Ideal Graduate. She goes, that just doesn't sound right. That means to me that everybody has to be in this ideal model. And she said, I like Portrait because we're all different. And we all have different goals and different ways that we're going to get to these accomplishments. And so within that, we changed that to Portrait of a Graduate as a district and even as with Ford and GL, who we're modeling this under. But when you see there, you see we want a graduate to be prepared, we want to be skilled, we want to be connected and experienced. So one of our challenges is how do we get kids connected with the businesses, with the opportunities that are out there? Because many of our kids, if it's not within a 2-mile radius of Southside High School, they have no idea what's out there and available to them. And so one of the great things is through some of these programs, through our JA 3DE, through some of our partnerships here around this area and also just around the city and county, that we're providing guest speakers, we're providing opportunities for our kids to go see real hands-on experiences of these opportunities that are available for our kids, which has been awesome for them to experience that. So every high school has schools of success. We technically have 4. So our first one is the freshman schools of success. And so within that, we break our learning down into smaller learning communities. And so here at Southside, we have 3 freshman houses is what we call them. So all of our freshmen are in one of those 3 houses. You have a core group of teachers, and those teachers share that small learning community of students. It helps build those relationships. It helps us as we're doing parent conferences, having conversations with you, tailors our instruction into that small learning. So that's our freshman group, okay? Everybody was in that freshman school of success with our wonderful ladies down here kind of leading the charge in that. Once they transition into 10th, 11th, and 12th, they will have identified a school of success or an interest, a pathway that they're interested in, and we will tailor their learning to that. And so we have 3 of those at the 10th grade level, and one of those is the School of Health Sciences and Human Services. The other one is the School of Manufacturing, Engineering, Technology, and Trades. That's a tongue twister. We often call it the MET School of Success. And we also have the Business and Arts. So all of our high schools, no matter which high school you go to in Florida Community Schools, has those 3 schools of success at the 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade level. The difference is the pathways that we offer underneath each of those. So some of them, there's some commonalities, and some of them are a little different. We also have what we call opportunities or pathways that are here on campus. So that would mean that every single one of your pathway courses you would take here at Southside High School. We also have some that we consider off-campus pathways. And so some of those courses might be here, and then some of them might be at a different location. It might be at our AMP Lab or Anthus Career Center or one of our other satellite programs that we have around. So we have on-campus and off-campus opportunity, and our AMP Lab, that will be moving forward, will be a capstone opportunity for our seniors. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. So moving forward, all of our students will also follow an entrepreneurship pathway, taking principles of entrepreneurship, new venture development, and entrepreneurial operations. That is just the courses that we will also launch. Our 3DE case challenges. You might have stopped by the 3DE table and talked to Ms. McCoy on that. She is a full-time employee here at Southside that helps our teachers also launch those real-world case challenges that our local business partners present for our students. So this entrepreneurship program, they will also take that simultaneously with one of their other pathways of interest. And a lot of times, one of the questions I get from parents is, do we really expect students at the freshman level to already pick which career that they want to do 5-6 years down the road? And I would say, no, we do not expect them to know that right away. I didn't even know that I wanted to be the principal of Southside. Definitely when I graduated Southside. But even after going to college, I had no idea that that's what I wanted to do. But obviously I'm here, that's where my path took me. The thing we're asking kids now is, what is your interest right now? And how do we tailor your learning for the next 4 years based off of that interest? So that learning can be fun, it can be meaningful for you, because if you've ever had a child in middle school or in high school, you come home and you ask them, how was school, what'd you learn? I don't know when I'm ever gonna use that, okay? Anybody else been in that boat at the dinner table? Yeah, a couple. So at least I'm not alone on that. But that's why we want to make sure that we are tailoring it to their interest right now. That's important to us. It makes learning fun, makes school fun, and it tailors them with other students that have the same interest as them as well. One of the other questions we get, well, we still have our IB program. Yes, we still have our IB program. I just talked to you a little bit ago about my own son who's in the full IB program. You don't have to take just the full IB program. That starts their 11th and 12th grade year. They can also take just what we call kind of a la carte IB courses. That's an option as well if they don't want to be full IB. We will also have dual credit classes. And those can start your freshman year. As you listen to Dr. Daniel on the video, the nice thing is we have this group of local colleges and universities that have come together and said, as long as our teachers are teaching that dual credit class, that is free to you now going forward. And so that's great. It saves money in your pockets and it gives you a head start on the college path as well. So when we talk about these schools of success, like I said, health sciences and human services. The highlighted ones on there are the ones that we offer here at Southside. Those are specific to us. Some of those other ones are under that school of success, but they might be offered at one of our other high schools. But for us, we have hospitality management, we have exercise science, and we have human and social services. You might have seen some of those tables and some of our teachers in there. Those are our on-campus ones within the Health Science and Human Services School of Success. These right here are all the ones that are also available under Health Science and Human Services, but these would be some of our off-campus. So the students are still Southside students. They would take the majority of their core classes here, and then they would take some off-campus classes if they are interested in some of these pathways as well. Same thing goes for our manufacturing, engineering, technology, and trades. Once again, for us, if you were in the media center, you saw Mr. Truesdale's class with the digital media. We have interior design, and we have smart manufacturing. If you didn't hit the smart manufacturing, that's a new pathway to us that we just started last year. We just got a grant for all the equipment for that. It is not about being on assembly line, it's about coding, robotics, programming robots to do a lot of the work that humans normally would. So if you are interested in robotics or anything like that, I would encourage you to check out more of our smart manufacturing program. Again, within our manufacturing, engineering, technology, and trades School of Success, these are some of the other ones that are available off campus, including automotive, construction trades, welding. Obviously, for a reason that we can't offer those all here. We don't have automotive programs on campus here at Southside, but those are some of our off-campus opportunities. And then within our business and arts, we have our civics arts pathway. So if your child is all about the arts, whether it's dance, whether it's arts, visual arts, whether it is instrumental or theater or vocal, they can get their pathway by taking 3 consecutive classes within that field to get their civics art pathway. But we also offer business administration and marketing and sales. Some of the other ones for the business and arts that would be off campus would be digital design and interactive media design. I know I just ran through those really quick, but they are also on the back of one of your handouts. What I tell you too is part of our job as the freshman group and as a school is to get as much information to your children during our freshman seminar course as we can, because we want them to make an educated decision on their interest by the middle to end of their freshman year. And so we will give them all kinds of experiences within many of those fields that I just talked about, our pathways, so that they can make a decision on, hey, this one really interests me right now. Let me sign up for that pathway going forward. And so it's not about they have to know that right now, because just by telling you those names and topics, that doesn't give them enough information. So it's our challenge their freshman year during that freshman seminar course to really give them more information so they can have a better understanding of what they want to do going forward. Is this me too?
Mr. Harrell, I think you've done some of our slides. You're doing such a good job.
I'm sorry. I just keep talking. You know, I get so excited about it. Do you want to talk about that one? I will say, maybe I should stop saying. You go ahead.
Where are we at?
This one right here.
Okay. So with our transition from middle school to freshman year, I'm going to be coming out, again, my name is Miss Lindsay, I'm the guidance counselor for 9th grade. I'm going to be coming out to the middle schools, to all of our feeders here in January, doing an initial talk. So I know we're talking about a lot of information. There's a lot of information being hurled at you guys, but you're going to hear this over and over and over again. So I'm going to be coming out to the feeders in January, doing my initial talk. I'm going to come with our course selection sheet, and I'm going to be going over, the classes that they're going to be that are offered their 9th grade year. Going into detail, I'll have probably Miss Atkins and Mr. Leopold, and then hopefully a representative from our athletic department to talk about athletics as well. And then I'll go back probably a couple of weeks later, and I'll bring my guidance team with me, and we will sit down and actually pen to paper, sit down individually with your student and map out what classes they want to take their 9th grade year. So that's sort of the plan with that.
I'm going to interject too.
Sure.
And that's one of your handouts is the course selection sheet. Somebody was asking me earlier, do we need to fill this out? No, you don't. We want to get that in your hands so you can have an idea and start having conversations with your son or daughter or granddaughter or grandson about some of the opportunities that are available their freshman year. But then Ms. Lindsay and her group will come and have more intentional conversations with the students on those too.
So I know we're talking a lot about career pathways, but again, I just want to emphasize this is something that they're going to start, or they're going to choose their freshman year, but won't start until their sophomore or junior. And that really depends on whether they're going to do an in-house pathway or whether they're going to do an off-campus pathway. Okay, so just to emphasize that again.
And I think that last bullet point down there is important too. Oftentimes the transition from middle school, having spent 90% of my career at the middle school level, and then having students transition to high school can be a challenge for kids. And sometimes as parents we're like, oh, you're a high school student, you can figure it out now. They're still our babies. They're still not old enough necessarily to make all the decisions for themselves. One of the big challenges is going from not necessarily earning high school credits to earning high school credits, and how important it is right away that students are staying on top of those credits early on, because you can't wait. We could have student testimonials up here from some of our athletes or some of our just regular students that wish they would have done a little bit more their freshman year as far as in the classroom and academically, because otherwise they're playing catch up later on, or opportunities aren't available for them later on because their GPA isn't high enough. And so it is super important. That's one of the great things about our small learning communities with our teacher teams is they will be communicating with you if there's any concerns at all, but also just like you have now at the middle school level, you have real-time access to their attendance and to their grades. And so this has to be a partnership. that we're working together on that. So if there's ever any questions that you might have about an assignment that's not in, or a low test score, or whatever, have that conversation with us so that we can work with you so that those students aren't falling too far behind. This is a typical schedule. Do you want to go over that?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and before I forget, I have my card up here, so if any of you have questions afterwards, want to give me a call or send me an email, want to set up a meeting so we can talk more here, I have that up here as well. So next year, like I said, they're going to be selecting 7 classes. So we have our 5 core classes. We have our freshman seminar, where they're going to be working in groups, working on that collaboration, critical thinking, partnering with local businesses. And I don't know if you guys saw us in the paper last week, but we were down at Hagerman, and our freshmen did an awesome job presenting to the board there. So we're going to have our math class. So if you're in algebra right now, you're going to be in geometry next year, of course, if you've got a satisfactory grade. But most of our freshmen are going to be taking Algebra 1. So you can take that academic, or you can take that higher level as an honors class. We've got the same goes for biology. All freshmen will take biology, academic, or honors. I said freshman seminar already. We have English, academic, or honors. And then we have computer science, or foundations of computing, and then health. So those are each 1 semester long, and those are our 5 core classes. So those are all necessary for graduation. We have to be passing and getting our credits in all 5 of those. And then there's a little bit of wiggle room for electives. So we had mentioned earlier that world history is your student's first opportunity to take a dual credit class in their freshman year. So that could take up one of those spaces. And then of course we have American Sign Language and Spanish as our world languages that we offer here. So if you're going for that seal, one of those seals, you're going to make sure that you get one of those world languages. And of course, you're going to be wanting to look at that world history dual credit. If you don't do dual credit world history, you can take that sophomore year academic. That's usually a sophomore level class. So yeah, there are 2 elective slots. We offer a whole bunch of different options with art classes, strength training, all kinds of things, theater, and you'll see those all detailed on the course selection sheet that we provided each one of you.
We will also have the opportunity for students that already know one of their pathways that they believe that they're interested in right away. We'll have opportunities that they might even be able to start some of their principal courses in those pathways their freshman year too. So that's another option. This is just a generic schedule. Obviously, not everybody's going to take Spanish, not everybody's going to take art. That's why that's not bolded on there. So if you're a band or a choir student, that might fill one of your slots instead of the art or the Spanish. So this is that election sheet that you probably have in your hands, hopefully. If you didn't get one, we'll make sure that you get one before you leave. But again, you don't have to fill anything out on that, but it is something that we would like for you to have those conversations with your son, daughter, and then like Ms. Lindsay said, her group will be there late January having those conversations. So, freshman seminar course, that is one of our classes. They will get an actual entrepreneurship, principles of entrepreneurship credit with this. But within that course, we really do a lot. We talk about college and careers, some of the same stuff, and kind of expand on it that they might have done in your PCC course right now. That's where we launch our 3D case challenges. So there are 6 case challenges their freshman year. We just talked about Hagerman Construction, so a real business. In Hagerman Construction, Mark Hagerman is a graduate of Southside High School, so he said, I want to partner with Southside. My company has this challenge that we are trying to figure out. Maybe it might be where we want to expand and locate into another area. And so they task our kids working in small groups with a challenge. And so then our kids have to research and figure out where they think the best move would be and why, using some of the tools that are necessary to do that. And then they present it within their classroom, and then they present it in front of our entire freshman group. The winners do, and then we take the winners from there. They presented last week in front of Mark Hagerman himself, who's the CEO, and some of his board members. I will tell you, it is crazy the amount of growth. Even last year, this was the first year we did 3DE here at Southside, from our kids when they first did these first challenges in September, October. I sat in on the first presentations and I was like, whoa, we got a lot of room for improvement. But we're also talking about freshmen getting in front of whole groups, large groups, auditoriums of more people than this and presenting. That can be scary to adults, let alone to freshmen that are just coming into a high school environment. And the growth that we saw from that point to, we were in an Arby's national competition and our kids finished in the top 4 in the country. So the growth that we had from just that September to January was crazy. We now have, at the beginning of this year, we started with our sophomore group. We've got kids that are volunteering to do things, present, and as you saw even on that video, in front of CEOs, multi-million-dollar companies, out in public, which is pretty cool and amazing, thinking that those are freshmen and sophomores. And they feel more comfortable speaking and talking in front of adults or large groups than our juniors and seniors do, who didn't get that experience in that 3D Geeks challenges. Okay, so awesome opportunities that we have for our kids going forward with that. So a lot of those things will be encompassed within that freshman seminar course, but they'll definitely launch those 3D case challenges in there. There you go. See, now I can stop talking again.
All right, you guys are going to get to hear from me for a minute. My name's Lori Adkins. I am the 9th grade assistant principal. Miss Lindsay and I are dedicated to the 9th grade. We are the ones who will be working with your children. And we'd like to thank you guys for allowing us that privilege, because it is a big commitment with your child coming to a school. So, I'm going to talk to you guys about guaranteed experiences. We can take a book, and we can read a book, and we understand it. But if I take you somewhere and let you get your hands in it, you're going to remember it. So it's super important for us to go out into the community and have some of these experiences. One of the experiences that everyone does, and they're guaranteed, all the children get the same experiences. We go to something called J.A. Jobs Park. That is at the Coliseum. There are multiple trades, companies, businesses, occupations. The kids did everything from line work for electrical. Some of them learned about soil propagation. So there's a variety of things that our kids have not been exposed to yet. That doesn't mean they're not interested in it, they just don't know it yet. So the more we get your children out and we let them experience the different occupations, the more informed decision they're going to make. We also have a college fair, a career fair, college visits. We allow college visits. We have colleges who come to us. We like to celebrate. And I'm going to tell you, last year when we went with Arby's and we beat 300 and some other old schools, I had a definite sense of pride. The kids were absolutely amazing. And if you could see where they started from and where they ended up, you can't help but say, wow. Because our kids are capable of much more. And we have just now got that talent started. So, my goal is, we're going to celebrate a lot. We're going to celebrate as a community. Our 9th graders are in learning circles. So that transition to high school is going to be much smoother for them. If you were upstairs, we have our freshman area all in one kind of localized area. And that just helps with building a sense of community. It takes a very large building and makes it small. And their teachers get to know them as a group. So guaranteed experiences, I've got to get your child out, or go to Parkview Hospital. Where else have we been? Hagerman Construction, Parkview Field. I had about 10 kids come back wanting to be a groundskeeper because they had no idea that somebody actually took care of the field. They thought it just happened. Or they thought it was just turf. And when the man who was the groundskeeper at Parkview went over, this is what you have to know. There's all these different kinds of grasses, and you have to know about the weather and whatnot. These kids were just totally amazed, and they asked such good questions because it sparked an interest. So our job is to get them interested or nurture an interest that they already have so that we can prepare and tailor an education for them moving forward. Freshman year, to me, is the most important year. A lot of people are like, It's your first launch. And I need to make sure that you have a successful launch. Ms. Lindsay and I work together to make sure that your children have the absolute best opportunity to do what they want to do. I want to welcome you guys. Thanks for coming out because it's cold and it's yucky. So Ms. Lindsay and I are here for any time that you need us. We are your first line to talk to. If there's something wrong, let us know. Let me know if something's great. I like good news too. Let me know when good things are happening. Or if your child has come home and told you, you know what I learned about today? That's what brings a smile to me, is when a child has the ability to go out and see something they may not have known.
Some of our upcoming dates, again, we'll send this out to our middle school principals and they can send it out too, but if you want to write some of those down, online registration will open up this spring. In-person registration is July 23rd. Just like in the middle school level, if you register online, then you do not have to come on the 23rd. You're more than welcome to, but you don't have to. And then the first day of school, already, it's crazy, we're talking about the first day of school for next year. It's August 12th. But again, I know we threw a lot of information out for you tonight. It's our first opportunity to get that to you. We'll continue to have these conversations over the next 4 years as far as graduation requirements, credits, all that stuff. We wanted to initially talk to you about pathways and schools of success because that's a huge part of what we're doing here at Southside High School. But we'll stick around. If you have questions for us individually or questions for the whole group, we can take those. But other than that, again, we thank you for coming out and spending some time. We know that you have lots of options in Fort Wayne. We hope you continue to choose Southside and be a part of our family here. So again, thank you again for coming out. We'll be up here if you want to have if you have specific questions for us, we'll try and answer those for you. Again, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. And so in case you're not sure how to get back to where you started, if you go out of the auditorium here and turn right, there's just doors right down the ramp. Those will take you out to the main parking lot too. That's not the door you came in.